What if I told you that your morning coffee, the same comforting cup you've enjoyed for decades, could become the most powerful tool for rebuilding your strength, right in your own kitchen? I'm not talking about expensive protein powders or complicated supplements. I'm talking about simple, honest additions that cost mere pennies, yet can transform that regular coffee into a powerhouse that works to rebuild your muscles, even while you're resting in your favorite chair. If you're over 60, and you've been watching your strength disappear faster than your retirement savings, if getting up from a low chair now feels like an Olympic event, or if you've noticed your arms looking more like deflated balloons than the strong limbs they used to be, then please, stop everything and listen closely. Because there's a harsh reality nobody discusses at your doctor's appointments. It's a silent war against your body called sarcopenia, and it's stealing 3 to 8% of your muscle mass every single decade. But what I'm about to share isn't just another health fad. This is based on solid research from places like Harvard and Johns Hopkins. As a doctor who has spent over 30 years caring for seniors, I've seen this truth firsthand. I've watched proud, hard-working men and women I've known for years suddenly struggle to open a simple jar of pickles. Their doctors tell them to exercise more. But when your joints already ache and you're tired from just living, that's like telling someone with broken legs to go run a marathon. It's simply not practical. In this video, I am here to arm you with real, simple knowledge. I'm going to show you exactly what to add to your morning coffee to turn this daily ritual into an act of rebuilding your own body. And please, it is so important that you stay with me until the very end. Because the fifth and final addition I'll share is something you probably have in your spice cabinet right now. But here's the frightening secret. 99% of people are using the wrong kind, a kind that can silently cause harm to your liver over time. The information in that final section is critical for your safety. Before we dive in, I truly want to know how many of us share this experience. If the struggle I just described feels familiar to you, please take a moment to comment a simple yes below. It helps me understand, and more importantly, it shows others in our community that they are not alone in this. Okay, let's begin. Alright, let's get right into it. Let's talk about the very first, and perhaps most fundamental addition that begins to transform your daily coffee into a true muscle rebuilding elixir. Addition number 1 is collagen peptides, the scaffolding for your muscles. Now, when most people hear the word collagen, they immediately think about skin, about wrinkles and beauty creams. And yes, it's vital for that. But here's the crucial truth that the beauty industry rarely talks about. Collagen is the literal framework of your muscular system. Did you know that a full 10% of all your muscle tissue is made of collagen? I want you to think of it like the scaffolding on a construction site or the wooden frame of a house. It's the essential structure that holds all the important parts, in this case, your muscle fibers, together in a strong, functional unit. Without a sturdy frame, a house simply falls apart. And without adequate collagen, your muscles begin to fall apart at a structural level. But it goes even deeper. Collagen is also the primary component of your tendons, the tough, flexible cords that connect your muscles to your bones. When these tendons weaken from collagen loss, your muscles can't effectively transfer their power into movement. This creates a frustrating situation where you feel significantly weaker than you actually are. Your muscles are firing, but the connection is loose. The power isn't getting through. Here's why this becomes a crisis after age 60. It's a matter of simple, biological math. By the time you're in your 60s, your body's natural collagen production has already dropped by over 50%. Let that sink in. 50%. By age 70, you are producing 75% less collagen than you did when you were 30. Your body is desperately trying to maintain and repair its muscular structure with less than half the materials it needs. It's like asking a carpenter to build a solid house, but only giving them a quarter of the necessary lumber. It's an impossible task. This is precisely why you might notice your grip strength failing when you try to open a jar, or why your knees seem to creak and protest every time you stand up from your favorite chair. It's the scaffolding of your body becoming brittle. I remember a patient of mine, a wonderful gentleman named Michael from Arizona. Michael is 68, a retired electrician who spent his entire life working with his hands. He came to me, quietly frustrated, because his grip had gotten so weak that he couldn't even open his own child-proof pill bottles anymore. His wife had to help him with it every morning. For a man who built things for a living, This loss of independence was devastating. So, we made one single change. I asked him to add 2 scoops of collagen peptides to his morning coffee. That was it. He didn't start a new exercise program. He overhauled his diet. Just the collagen in his coffee. The results, just 6 weeks later, were remarkable. He came into my office with a huge grin on his face. Not only could he open every bottle in his medicine cabinet by himself, but he had started doing small electrical repairs around the house again. Something he hadn't felt strong enough to do in years. We tested his grip strength with a dynamometer, and the results were right there in black and white. It had increased by 12 pounds of pressure. But here's the part of his story that I find most telling. He told me, almost as an afterthought, "You know, Doc, the funny thing is, the aching in my knees has gotten about 50% better too." The collagen wasn't just working on the muscle tissue. It was simultaneously rebuilding and cushioning his joints, the very connections that allowed his muscles to work without pain. His story is a perfect example of why this works. Adding collagen peptides to your coffee provides those missing building materials in a form your body can absorb almost instantly. And here's a fascinating piece of science. Studies have shown that the warmth of the coffee actually improves the absorption of collagen by up to 40% compared to taking it in a cold liquid. The heat helps open up the absorption channels in your digestive system, allowing those critical amino acids to get to work faster. So, here is the simple, powerful action you can take starting tomorrow morning. Add 10 to 15 grams, which is about 1 to 2 scoops of most brands, of collagen peptides directly into your hot coffee. It's important to look for hydrolyzed collagen peptides, specifically types 1 and 3. These are the exact types that make up your muscle tissue, your tendons, and your skin. It will dissolve completely, it has virtually no taste, and many people find it actually makes their coffee a little creamier. Now, there is one last little secret to make this work even better. Your body needs vitamin C to properly synthesize and use the collagen you consume. Without it, you're not getting the full benefit. So, a simple squeeze of a lemon wedge into your coffee after it's cooled slightly, or taking a basic 500 mg vitamin C supplement with your coffee, can literally double its effectiveness. If you are ready to start rebuilding that fundamental scaffolding of your strength, I want you to go down to the comments right now and write one word: strong. It's a declaration to yourself that you are ready to take back control. Alright, now that we've talked about rebuilding the very framework of your muscles with collagen, we need to address the second critical piece of the puzzle: energy. Because a house frame, no matter how strong, is useless without electricity. Addition number 2 is MCT oil, the rocket fuel for your cells. Here is a fundamental problem that nearly every person over 60 faces. Your muscles are often starving for energy, even when you think you're eating plenty of food. As we age, our body's ability to efficiently convert food into usable energy for our muscles slows down. This is why you might experience that dreaded mid-afternoon slump, that feeling of hitting a wall where you just don't have the get up and go you used to. It's a sign that your muscles are running on empty. They need a special kind of fuel. A fuel that an aging body can use immediately, without a long and complicated digestive process. And that is exactly what MCT oil is. MCT stands for medium-chain triglycerides, but you don't need to remember that. All you need to remember is that this isn't like other fats, like olive oil or butter. Those are long-chain fats, and for your body to use them, they have to go on a long, winding journey through your digestive system that can take hours. MCT oil is different. It's like jet fuel. Here's what makes it so unique. When you add it to your coffee, it almost completely bypasses your normal digestive process. It takes a shortcut, going straight from your gut to your liver. There, it's converted into something incredible called ketones. Now, ketones are a premium, high-octane fuel source for your body. They provide 3 times more energy per unit than sugar or glucose does. And here's the key: your aging muscles, and your brain for that matter, absolutely prefer this type of fuel. It's cleaner, more efficient, and provides an immediate, sustained source of power. But providing energy is only half the story. MCT oil does something else that is truly astonishing, especially for anyone over 60. It helps your body protect the muscle you already have. When your body has that premium ketone fuel available, it doesn't need to resort to breaking down its own muscle tissue for energy, a process called catabolism. So, it preserves your hard-earned muscle. And this leads to the most remarkable benefit of all. Something that sounds almost too good to be true, but is backed by solid scientific research. MCT oil can trigger your body to naturally produce more of its own growth hormone. Yes, the very same growth hormone that is essential for building muscle and maintaining vitality, the same hormone that declines so dramatically as we age. A fascinating study out of Japan found that consuming MCT oil increased growth hormone levels by up to 160% in older adults. This isn't about synthetic injections or risky therapies. This is about giving your body a natural signal to produce more of what it needs to stay strong. I want to tell you about a patient of mine, a lovely woman named Linda from Minnesota. Linda is 71, and when she first came to see me, her situation was heartbreaking. She was so frail that she told me she couldn't lift her cat's litter box to clean it. It was a simple task, but it had become monumental. Her daughter was deeply concerned and was on the verge of hiring a home health aide because she was worried about her mother living alone. We started Linda on a very simple plan. Just 1 teaspoon of MCT oil in her morning coffee. Nothing else. Within just 3 weeks, she called me. She said, "Doc, I don't know what's in this stuff, but I noticed yesterday I walked up the stairs and I wasn't out of breath at the top." That was the first sign. 2 months later, she came in for her follow-up. She was a different person. She told me with pride in her voice that she was not only changing the cat litter box with ease, but she was doing all of her own grocery shopping again. And she wasn't even using the shopping cart for support anymore. Her independence. It meant the world to her. We later did a DEXA scan to measure her body composition, and the results were stunning. Her lean muscle mass had increased by 3%, and her body fat had decreased by 5%. All without any formal exercise. The MCT oil was helping her body build muscle and burn fat simultaneously. So, here is how you can safely and effectively put this to work for you. The most important rule is to start slow. Your digestive system needs a moment to adjust. Begin with just 1 teaspoon of MCT oil in your coffee for the first week. If you feel fine, you can gradually increase that amount over a couple of weeks to a maximum of 1 tablespoon. Too much, too fast can cause some stomach upset, so listening to your body is key. And when you're buying it, it's very important to look at the label. You want to find an MCT oil that is primarily made of C8 and C10. Those are the 2 types of MCTs that convert most efficiently into those energy-giving ketones. Many cheaper brands are diluted with C12, which doesn't provide the same muscle-building and energy benefits. So look for that C8 and C10 on the bottle. It will make all the difference. We've laid the foundation with collagen, and we've supplied the rocket fuel with MCT oil. Now we arrive at what might be the most powerful and the most misunderstood addition of them all. This one is a true game changer. Addition number 3 is creatine monohydrate, recharging your muscles' batteries. Now, I want to address something right up front. For decades, creatine has been unfairly stereotyped. Many people hear the word and immediately think of giant bodybuilders in a gym or professional athletes. And because of this, a huge number of seniors believe, quite understandably, that it's simply not for them. That is one of the biggest misconceptions in modern health, and it's a belief that is robbing countless older adults of their strength and vitality. Let me be clear. Creatine is not a steroid. It is not a drug. It is a completely natural and safe compound that your own body produces in your liver and kidneys. Its primary job is to help supply energy to your cells, especially your muscle cells. The problem, the core reason this becomes so essential as we age, is that after age 60, your body's natural production of creatine plummets by as much as 50%. So, why does this matter so much? I want you to think of the creatine stores in your muscles as tiny, rechargeable battery packs. Every single movement you make, from blinking your eyes to pushing a grocery cart, requires a quick burst of energy. For those first few critical seconds of any activity, whether it's standing up from a chair or simply lifting a coffee cup, your muscles don't use carbohydrates or fat. They use the energy stored in these little creatine batteries. As you get older and your natural creatine levels drop, it's like starting every day with your batteries only half charged. This is why simple, everyday tasks start to feel so much harder. That feeling of immense effort just to get out of a low sofa? That's your body struggling because its immediate energy reserves, its batteries, are low. Supplementing with creatine isn't about becoming a bodybuilder. It's about simply recharging those batteries back to the level they were at when you were younger. It's about restoring your body's natural state. The science on this is absolutely staggering. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of studies confirming its safety and effectiveness, but one particular study from the renowned McMaster University in Canada is truly eye-opening for seniors. They took a group of adults over the age of 65 and had them take just 5 grams of creatine daily. They didn't give them an exercise program. They just asked them to take the creatine. After just 12 weeks, the results were incredible. On average, these individuals had gained 3.3 pounds of lean muscle mass. And their performance on a simple chair stand test, a key indicator of lower body strength and independence, improved by 30%. They literally got stronger just by sitting in their chairs. Let me share a story that brings this to life. I have a patient named David, a 74-year-old retired engineer from Texas. David is a proud man who has lived in the same house for over 40 years. When he came to me, he was deeply discouraged. He told me he was seriously considering selling his home. The reason? He couldn't maintain the yard anymore. He was too weak to reliably push the lawnmower, and he definitely couldn't lift bags of soil for his wife's garden. He felt like he was losing his home because he was losing his strength. We started him on a simple regimen. Just 1 teaspoon, about 5 grams, of plain creatine monohydrate in his morning coffee. 6 weeks later, he called me, and I could hear the excitement in his voice. He had mowed his entire lawn, in the Texas heat, without stopping. 3 months after that, he sent me a picture. He had built his wife 2 new raised garden beds, by himself. His son, he told me, couldn't believe the transformation. But the detail David shared later was the most profound. He said, "Doc, my chronic fatigue, the tiredness I just thought was a part of getting old. It's gone. I wake up feeling refreshed for the first time in a decade." He hadn't just regained his strength, he had regained his life energy. So, here's the straightforward path to making this work for you. All you need is 5 grams, which is about 1 level teaspoon, of creatine monohydrate. Stir it into your coffee. It's tasteless, odorless, and dissolves completely in warm liquid. And please, do not fall for the expensive marketing traps. You will see fancy, buffered creatines or liquid versions that cost 5 or 10 times as much. They do not work any better. Plain, simple creatine monohydrate is the most researched, most effective, and by far the cheapest form available. We're talking about maybe 10 cents a day. There is one important thing to remember. Creatine works by pulling more water into your muscle cells. This is a good thing. It's part of the mechanism. It means your muscles are becoming more hydrated, healthier, and stronger. But it also means you need to be mindful of drinking a little extra water throughout the day. Aim for 8 to 10 glasses. This isn't a side effect. It's a sign that it's working. If the idea that you can gain real, measurable strength without a strenuous exercise program is surprising to you, go to the comments and write one word: wow. We've rebuilt the structure, we've supplied the fuel, and we've recharged the batteries. Now we need to address a hidden, insidious problem that happens inside our bodies as we get older. A problem that can make all our other efforts less effective. We need to flip the master switch. Addition number 4 is Leucine, the master switch for muscle growth. Here is one of the most frustrating challenges that I see in my patients over 60. Many of them are diligent. They make sure to eat enough protein. They have chicken for dinner, eggs for breakfast. They believe they are giving their body the building blocks it needs, yet they continue to feel weaker. Why does this happen? The reason is a condition that scientists call anabolic resistance. Now, that sounds complicated, but the concept is actually quite simple. It means that as you age, your muscles become hard of hearing. They become less sensitive to the signals from the protein. You could eat a beautiful protein-rich steak, but your muscles might barely notice. The message to grow and repair just isn't getting through with the same clarity it used to. It's like your muscles have earmuffs on. This is where leucine comes in. Leucine is one of the essential amino acids, the building blocks of protein. But it's a very special one. It is the most important of all the amino acids for triggering muscle growth. Think of it like this. If building muscle is like a construction project, the other amino acids are the workers, the carpenters, the plumbers, the electricians. But leucine. Leucine is the foreman. It's the one who walks onto the construction site and blows the whistle, signaling for all the other workers to get to work. Without the foreman's signal, all the other workers just stand around, and no building gets done. Scientifically, what leucine does is activate a critical pathway in your body called mTOR. You don't need to remember the name, just what it does. The mTOR pathway is the primary, #1 signal in the entire human body that tells your muscles to start synthesizing protein, to start building. Leucine is the key that turns that engine on. Here's why this is so profoundly important for anyone over 60. Research has shown that as we age, we require a significantly higher amount of leucine to flip that switch. A younger person might only need about 1.5 grams of leucine in a meal to get a strong muscle-building response. But because of that anabolic resistance I mentioned, an older adult needs about double that amount, closer to 3 grams, just to get the same effect. This is called the leucine threshold, and it's much higher in our later years. Most seniors are simply not reaching this higher threshold from their regular diet alone, which means the foreman never shows up to the job site. The scientific evidence for this is compelling. A study from the University of Texas took a group of adults over 65 and found that simply adding 3 grams of leucine to a beverage increased their muscle protein synthesis, their rate of muscle building, by 33%. This was without any other changes. Just by ensuring they hit that leucine threshold, their body's ability to build muscle was supercharged. When you combine that effect with the coffee's natural ability to improve nutrient uptake into the muscle cells, the result is even more powerful. But the magic of leucine doesn't stop there. It doesn't just trigger muscle building, it also actively prevents muscle breakdown. It works on both sides of the equation. It inhibits the pathway in your body that's responsible for breaking down your muscle tissue. So at the same time it's telling your body build, it's also telling it don't break down. It's a true double victory for preserving your strength and independence. So, how do you put this powerful signaling molecule to work for you? The solution is beautifully simple. All you need is a small amount of leucine powder, which is readily available and inexpensive. The target dose is between 2.5 and 3 grams. That's typically about 1 small scoop. You can add this directly to your morning coffee along with the other ingredients. Now, I want to be upfront about the taste. Leucine powder on its own has a slightly bitter taste. However, many people find that this bitterness actually complements the natural bitterness of coffee quite well, much like the pleasant bitterness you find in a piece of dark chocolate. If you do find it a bit too strong for your liking, a small amount of a natural, zero-calorie sweetener like stevia or monk fruit can easily balance it out. By taking it with your first cup of coffee in the morning, you are essentially flipping that master switch for muscle building and setting your body up for success for the entire day. The signal from that 1 dose of leucine stays active for about 3 to 4 hours. So, when you eat your protein-rich breakfast about 30 minutes after your coffee, your muscles are already primed and ready to use that protein with maximum efficiency. You've woken them up and taken their earmuffs off, allowing them to hear the signal loud and clear. And now, we have arrived at our 5th and final ingredient. This may be the simplest one of all, and as I promised at the beginning, it's something many of you might already have sitting in your spice cabinet. But this is also where a critical and potentially dangerous mistake is often made. Getting this one right is absolutely vital for your long-term health. Addition number 5 is Ceylon cinnamon, the intelligent gatekeeper. Earlier in our conversation, I mentioned the concept of insulin resistance. I described how, as we get older, our muscle cells can become hard of hearing. Well, insulin resistance is another form of that deafness. In simple terms, insulin is the key that unlocks the door to your muscle cells, allowing nutrients like glucose and amino acids to enter and provide nourishment and energy. As we age, the locks on those doors can get rusty. The key doesn't work as well. This is insulin resistance. The result? All those vital nutrients for muscle building and repair, the protein from your breakfast, the amino acids from the collagen, are left stranded outside the cell door. Your muscles can be literally starving, even if you're eating a healthy diet. This is one of the biggest hidden roadblocks to maintaining strength and energy in our later years. It's a fundamental cause of that persistent fatigue and weakness that so many people just accept as a normal part of getting older. It is not. This is where the humble cinnamon stick comes in. But, and this is incredibly important, not all cinnamon is created equal. The common, inexpensive cinnamon that you find in most grocery stores is called cassia cinnamon. While it has some benefits, it also contains high levels of a compound called coumarin. In small, occasional doses, coumarin is generally fine. But when taken every single day, as we are suggesting here, high levels of coumarin can be harmful to the liver. This is the dangerous mistake I warned you about. The type of cinnamon we need is different. It's called Ceylon cinnamon. It's sometimes known as true cinnamon. Ceylon cinnamon contains all of the powerful, beneficial compounds that help our muscles, but it has only trace, insignificant amounts of coumarin, making it perfectly safe for daily use. So, how does this safe, true cinnamon work its magic? The active compounds in Ceylon cinnamon act as intelligent gatekeepers for your muscle cells. They work to clean the rust off those locks. They help your insulin receptors work more efficiently, essentially making the doors to your muscle cells much more receptive to that insulin key. The result is that the door swings open wide, allowing all of those wonderful nutrients to flood into the muscle cell where they are desperately needed. Think of it like this. All the other ingredients we've added are like groceries you've had delivered to your doorstep. The collagen, the creatine, the leucine, they're all there. But if the front door is locked, those groceries are useless. Ceylon cinnamon is the gatekeeper who unlocks that door, ensuring all those precious supplies get inside. The science backs this up powerfully. Studies have shown that consuming just a half teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon daily can improve insulin sensitivity by as much as 20%. Imagine making every single thing you eat 20% more effective for building muscle and energy. That's the power we're talking about here. A study from Pakistan followed individuals with insulin resistance and found that those who consumed cinnamon daily not only saw dramatic improvements in their insulin sensitivity, but they also showed an increase in lean muscle mass, even without a formal exercise plan. The researchers concluded it was because their bodies were finally able to properly utilize the protein they were eating. Furthermore, Ceylon cinnamon also helps fight against the low-grade, chronic inflammation that is a hallmark of aging. This is the very inflammation that can make your joints ache and contribute to that feeling of being tired and run down all the time. Reducing this inflammation helps your entire system function better. So, here is your final, simple action step. First, I want you to go to your spice cabinet. Look at your container of cinnamon. If it doesn't specifically say Ceylon, then it is almost certainly the high coumarin cassia type. While that's fine for occasional baking, I strongly advise you not to use it for this daily health practice. You must find cinnamon that is clearly labeled Ceylon cinnamon. It's readily available online and in most health food stores. It might cost $1 or $2 more, but your liver health is absolutely worth it. Once you have the right kind, simply add 1/4 to 1/2 of a teaspoon to your morning coffee. It adds a wonderful, subtle sweetness without any sugar, and a warmth that turns your coffee into a truly gourmet, health-giving drink. You can even add a whole cinnamon stick to your coffee grounds before you brew for a beautifully infused flavor. This simple, final step ensures that all the other powerful ingredients we've added can do their job to the absolute best of their ability. So, here we are at the end of our time together today. Let's just take a moment and think back to the beginning. Think back to that feeling we talked about. That frustrating, disheartening feeling of your strength slowly slipping away. Remember the image of struggling to get up from a low chair, or the simple, defeating act of not being able to open a jar. But now, I want you to remember the stories of Michael, Linda, and David. Think of Michael, the retired electrician, regaining the strength in his hands to not only open his pill bottles but to start fixing things around the house again. Think of Linda, who went from being unable to lift her cat's litter box to confidently doing all her own grocery shopping, leaving the support cart behind. And think of David, who was on the verge of selling his beloved home, now back to mowing his own lawn and building garden beds for his wife. Their stories show us something beautiful and incredibly important. They show us that weakness is not a life sentence. It is not our inevitable destiny. It is a condition, and like so many conditions, it can be changed. Tomorrow morning, when you walk into your kitchen and stand before your coffee maker, you will have a choice. It's more than just a choice of what to drink. It's a choice for yourself. It's a choice for strength. A choice for independence. It's a choice to make your golden years truly golden. The core message from our conversation today is this, and I want you to carry it with you. You have the power, right now, to begin rebuilding your body and reclaiming your strength. And it all starts with the simplest, smallest changes you can make in your very own kitchen. As we wrap up, we've explored 5 critical additions that can truly transform your morning routine. But knowledge is only powerful when we put it into action. So now, I have one important question for you, and I ask this from the heart. What is the one small commitment you are making to yourself after watching this video? It doesn't have to be a big, dramatic overhaul. It could be as simple as, I promise to look for Ceylon cinnamon this week. Or, I will try adding collagen to my coffee for the first time. Or even, I will remember to drink more water. Please share your personal commitment in the comments below. When you write it down, it becomes more real. It becomes a promise. Let's fill that comment section with hope and inspire each other to take that first, powerful step. And if you found real value and a sense of hope in our time together today, please show your support by giving this video a simple thumbs up, a like. To ensure you continue on this journey with us and never miss another conversation filled with practical, life-changing wisdom, please hit that subscribe button. It's more than just a click. It's your way of joining a warm and supportive community. A community of friends dedicated to living our best, strongest lives together. Finally, I want you to think of one person. Just one person in your life who needs to hear this message of hope today. Please, share this video with them. You might be giving them the most important gift of all. The gift of their own strength. Thank you for spending your valuable time with me. Stay strong, stay healthy, and stay hopeful. I look forward to seeing you in our next video.